Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a bit of lowrider art. Yesterday I was doing this with big guns and now we are back onto the airbrushes. So I'm in my sort of comfortable environment, I'd say, in the studio. Now the brush we're going to use today, I'm going to use the Sotar. I did a review on this the other day and I'm really liking this at the minute. So we're going to paint this piece today with the Sotar. I'll stick him in time lapses and then I'll do little pauses in between each section and then talk you through what colours I've used and how I've gone about doing it. We've got some shields, just my standard shields that you see me use in my videos. These are really old now, I'm going to be using them. Paints today, I've got some greyscale sort of mixed. I've got like 1 to 10 in the greyscale, the value. So I'm just going to pick a couple of these, go into the skin tones with that and just work it in these sort of grey tones. We've got some water, I've got flow improver, I've got a bottle of Com Art and I've got a bottle of black, the budget sort of airbrush paint. Cotton wool pads and things like that for cleaning if I need to clean along the way. Dread Effects tip tool set up so if I get any tip dry I can just buzz it on there and get sorted. So we'll crack on, I'll stick in the first time lapse. We'll go about 2 or 3 minutes in the time lapse, we'll pause and I'll talk you through. See you in a bit. Right guys, I'll give you a little talk through on sort of what I've done because you've just seen it speeded up in a time lapse. Now as you can see there we've got some paint down. I have a piece of paper to the side of my artwork where I can just go straight in and test my paint before I commit to what I'm painting. Now the value that I went in with, because I'm just doing this, I'm not copying the values from the picture, I'm making my own sort of tone to this as I go along. I used a value 7, which is quite light, and I even lightened that up. I just dropped some white Com Art in it, mixed it up, made a light tone, and then as you sort of layer that tone up it just becomes a little bit darker. So I went round and just sort of dusted in that first light tone and then just built up on top of that and just dropped the first number 7 on the picture. Sort of went round the face and started dropping the 7 in all round. All freehand, no shields, just going in with the airbrush, dropping in them tones. Where you can see your pencil lines, you can go in, if they're too sort of dark, you can go in and sort of erase them and knock them back. So I'll be knocking a few of them back here, around where the nose is. But it looks quite dark on the picture, her face looks quite dark. But it's only until you start putting your darks round here, it will then, this will look a lot lighter. So my advice is don't go in too dark too quick. Take it to about that sort of tone and then just drop some blacks in where these blacks are on the picture or your darker bits. Just start to drop a few of them in and then that will just give you a guide on how dark you're going across to the face. So drop your darks in sort of now, I'll drop a few darks in round and I can just get that guide on where I'm going because you're staring at white. And this is where people go wrong, is they go dark too quick because they're looking at everything around the image in bright white and it just makes you want to go darker and darker and darker. So drop a few darks in now around it and it will just help you sort of guide you along the picture. So I'll stick into the time lapse. I'm using the Sotar, which is really cool. The little scallop, I must have filled the scallop about 15 times already just to get that down, but it's good because it slows me down. I'm sort of painting, you probably see me in the time lapse, I'm painting one-handed like that and I've got the paint ready to fill up and I'm just sort of doing this as I'm going along with the paint. So another time lapse, we'll start dropping some darks in, be another couple of minutes on the time lapse, and then I'll give you another chat. See you in a bit. There you go, a little pause. Now you can definitely see that when you put the dark now to it, I'll pop a picture of it was previous and the face looked dark. I've not done any more on the inside of the face, I've just put the darks, and this is the first pass of dark because it is more like a transparent black. I've got a deeper black that I'll drop in and it will really make it pop. But the minute you start to put your darks in, your face just instantly goes lighter. A lot lighter. You've seen in that other picture I just put up, it looked really dark because you had white around the outside. It just confuses your eyes when you're looking at your painting. So get your face in and then just start to pop some of the darks in around it, and then you can sort of guide on where you're going, on how dark you're going on your flesh tone in your grayscale in the centre. But this is a light black. It's a very light black, this is. And we're going to darken this up again. I'm just sort of dropping the bits in, working around with the shields. You see me working around with these, just holding up against the piece like that, sort of like that, and then just spraying up to it. Air pressure I'm running, it's a little bit high for the Sotar. If I spray too much on the trigger, it just wants to sort of bleed out very slightly, so I've just got to drop the pressure down a little bit because the paint mix is very thin. That's why this black looks very sort of washed out on here, but I wanted them sort of washed out tones just to build up, and I can start adding the darks a bit later on. So I'm sticking with the time lapse. I'm just going to work around pieces. I'm not concentrating on one specific piece. I'll just jump around different areas and just start working it in. So I'll see you in the next time lapse. Right, I'll give you another little chat on where I am because the battery bleeps on the DJI and it was like time to change the battery, so I might have missed a bit and it sort of jumped forward. But we've dropped some more darks in. I've just sort of gone over the eyes again, darkened up the centres of the eyes, a little bit more black. We've got another black that we're going to go in with later, and this will really deepen these pieces around the eyes, on the eyelashes. This is a very light black. To get the white highlights on this, you can't do any erasing techniques or scratch backs on this paper because it is very absorbent. It's not like gessoed. If this was gesso, I could really sharpen up the highlights. So I'm going in with a Posca paint pen and literally just brightening the white up and sharpening the areas out on the eyes, doing the little dot sort of highlights in the eyes. You get a little bit sort of here. I'm just dropping a little bit of white in just to make them sharpen up a bit. So I'll move on to the next sort of piece. We're going to just carry on working these darks in. We'll get all this piece here in and round here. We'll get the hands, the two hands, start darkening these up, and then we can start putting the darker bits because we've got darker bits around here, around the bottom of the nose. We've got darker shades in the lips, bottom of the lip, the clown pieces to the eyes here to go in darker, and then I can dot darker all over. So you'll just see me work it along. I'll do a little bit more and then I'll give you a little chat in a bit. So I'll see you in the next time. There you go guys, we're all done. You see our little last time lapses? We dropped the blinds in. I could spend another half hour on this hour and just keep tidying bits up, sharpening bits up, adding more highlights. But I'm going to call that one done. Looks like the reference that we're working from. I could go a little bit darker on the flower, but I'm just going to leave this one as it is. It's just sort of a basic look at going through a piece of artwork. You've seen at the start of the video where we put the tones in on the face and the face looked really dark, and it wasn't until we started putting the darks around the outside it made the inside of the face look a lot lighter. We did the blinds just freehand and got a piece of cardboard in the end and just sort of held it, sprayed along. You see me in the time lapse doing that. Few tones of grey, a washed out black, a darker black, and got it down. So I hope you enjoyed the video on the lowrider girl peeking through the blind, and if you are liking the content guys, don't forget, click that subscribe, press that notification, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.